after Man United's, I think, shall we say, insipid performance, Kieran, against Man City on Sunday, many pundits across Sky and BBC pointed out how much United have paid on players in the past 10 years, an eye-opening sum of money, but it seems that some of it, Kieran, hasn't been paid.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I was actually asked for a series of numbers by a former Manchester United right-back.
Oh, do tell.
So he's young Gary, as he is known. He wanted so I'm more than happy to supply any professional footballer with details. But
unless it's your PIN number, Kieran. Obviously, what
yes.
what numbers was Gary Neville asking for, Kieran?
The total amount of debt.
The
total amount of transfer debt. The total amount that's been spent, and as you were implying, not spent. Manchester United have published their 2022-23 accounts, and it shows the highest amount of revenue ever generated by a Premier League club in the history of the competition.
Wow.
And yet they ended up losing 400 grand a week.
Wow.
And you ask yourself, if Manchester United, who arguably are one of the top 3 brands, it's a horrible word, but top 3 brands in terms of global followers in the game, if they cannot turn a profit, either there's a problem at the club or there's a problem in the industry, and I think there's an element of both with regards to that. Have Manchester United been spending money? Yes, they've spent somewhere, since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, they've spent somewhere close to, I think, £1.65 billion in respect of transfer fees. And when Sir Alex retired, they owed other clubs £34 million in outstanding transfers, because when you do a deal, it's done on instalments.
Yeah.
That figure of £34 million is now somewhere in the region of 300 million.
Wow.
So it looks as if the Glazers have been using the Manchester United credit card as a means of acquiring players. This isn't a football show, but I know plenty of United fans. I played cricket for Trafford, as I said on many occasions. I've got many mates still back in Manchester. I lived there for a long time. And it's the same thing. They say, where's the money gone? Show me a successful. Even the one I always shout out, which is Bruno Fernandes. He's a player who plays when he's in the right mood. Which is again not a particularly good reflection. So we then come back to the issue of the ownership. Is there any way that an alternative ownership could do things better? Well, first of all, they could put money into the club, which would count towards financial fair play. I've also put together some numbers looking at player sales, and Manchester United. If we talk about the so-called Big Six, from player sales, Manchester United over the course of the last 10 years have generated £250 million less than Manchester City, than Arsenal, than Spurs and Liverpool, and they've generated over £500 million less from player sales than Chelsea. So those numbers, to me, looking at it from a business point of view, are indicative of an organisation that doesn't know what it's doing in terms of talent trading.
I like it when Gary Neville gets indignant about a player, because his voice goes up an octave. And by the end of that game on Sunday, talking about Bruno Fernandes, I think only Findlay and the other dogs in the neighbourhood could actually hear him. It's just, he was so cross when he called him a con artist. It was like, oh, go on, Gary.